So you've either got some journaling experience or you're completely new to this and you want to begin a Stoic journaling practice. Regardless, this video is definitely going to help you with expanding on this journey towards becoming your next level self. Welcome to Next Level Warrior. My name is John, your self-development coach, and this channel is all about providing you with the knowledge and tools to help you build your warrior within to become your next level self. And there's no doubt in my mind that practicing Stoicism will help you greatly on this journey. And ironically, I've been practicing numerous Stoic philosophies for years without actually realizing it, without connecting the dots that these were Stoic practices. And I'm gonna go ahead and make the bold assumption that you've got a pretty good idea of how powerful and effective Stoic journaling can be for your own self-development. So you're gonna wanna watch all of the video to get the most out of it, especially with what I'll be sharing in the end regarding anxiety management. There's no doubt you understand that Stoic philosophers journaled in the morning. In fact, Marcus Aurelius himself was far bigger on it in the morning than in the evening. And I suggest the morning for two reasons. Number one, you're immediately framing your mind for a much better day, whether it's setting an optimistic tone via gratitudes or easing the anxiety of uncertainty that many of us experience at the start of the day. And the second is that you're much more likely to do it, because if you do it first thing, it'll make it easier to stick to as a habit than having to rely on doing it later in the day or in the evening when your willpower is totally fried. And while I can probably give you 10 more solid reasons to do this in the morning, I do want to keep this video short, but if that is a future video you'd like to see, then let me know by hitting the like button. Now, this next part of the video is the meat of it, the written portion, the written guide that I'll be breaking down into three main parts. The first one, which may not be the most obvious, is to avoid writing too much. Keep this very simple. Making sure it's short is always one of my top tips for starting and maintaining any journaling habit, which I trust that you'll hear me out on, as I personally haven't missed a day in over 3 years now. But if you've already practiced journaling a bunch and it's already a habit for you, then fantastic. Write as much as you wish here. For everyone else, let's keep you on the higher chance of success by bulleting it out in just a handful of sentences. The simpler you can make this, the less excuses your mind will make up when it tries to convince you to reach for easier dopamine rewards through digital distractions. Now, getting to the written part, make sure to use this simple framework: gratitude, rehearsal, and realization. You can even prep your page the night before by writing these in advance so that they're ready for you. Start off with a single sentence of gratitude. This should be very simple, and if you can't think of anything, the fact that you're breathing is a pretty good place to start. The fact that you're doing your morning Stoic journaling routine is another. The Stoics in particular would focus on gratitude towards the people in their lives, along with experiences, both positive and negative, that have helped to shape who they become as a result of the lessons that it gave them. So make sure not to overlook gratitude. It's not just some fluffy wishful thinking BS. The research on this shows that it can alter our neurobiology to not only enhance our mood, but actually strengthen neural pathways that reduce fear and anxiety. Which brings us to the next part here. Rehearsal. Bullet out 1 or 2 sentences about the challenges that you might face, worries you have, bad habits you're trying to overcome, temptations, people that you off, or even things that you're not clear about in your life. The purpose here isn't to make the problems bigger in our head, but actually the opposite. You see, when we get our troubles down on paper, not only are we preparing ourselves for the potentials, but we're also creating distance between us and those troubles. Writing it down helps us see that our worries may not be as big as we imagined them to be, which is a human condition that everyone has, where we always over-anticipate things. And this is actually a huge cause of so much fear and anxiety in our lives. Seneca in particular said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." And if you agree, then type 100% in the comments. And for a next level tip, write this out from a third-person perspective to reduce stress and anxiety further. With this technique, you would be using your name instead of I. This creates what's known as psychological distancing, and the research on this shows that speaking or writing in this way immediately reduces stress and anxiety to help calm you down. And if you want to know more about this, I'll link one of my past videos in the description. Just make sure that you check it out after this one. This is where you can bring in a lot of clarity to dissipate your anxieties and worries by reflecting on what's actually in your control and out of your control. This is where you can question those worries, fears, and challenges that come up. It's a place where you can regain some of that power back from the temporary distance that you've created between yourself and your worries through getting them down on paper. Basically, since your head is clear, you can analyze and question them. You can see what you actually have control over, what's completely out of your control, and bring in the necessary logic to feel more at ease with it all. This is the opportunity to realize that the reality of having the same worries looping around in your head based on things you have no control over is not only detrimental to your mental and physical health, but it's taking up your precious mental real estate, keeping you from making better decisions over what you can actually control. Now, before I go on, I've got to address the elephant in the room. As non-threatening as this may seem, it's pretty wild how intimidating these empty pages can be when you're sitting in front of them in the morning and your mind goes completely blank. And while I know everyone watching this has a great interest in adopting a journaling habit into their life, if you prefer guidance towards Stoic journaling with clearly laid out prompts to make this initially easier to follow, then definitely check out Ryan Holiday's Daily Stoic Journal. It'll likely be the best thing for you as it's filled with a variety of prompts to help guide you with this writing, and it's all wrapped up in a sweet hardcover journal. There'll be an affiliate link in the description below if you feel this is a better choice for you. But alternatively, you can also prepare your prompts for the week on a blank journal to save a couple of dollars. Now back to the writing topic here of realization. I need you to remember that you can't control everything that happens in life, but you can control how you respond. This journaling exercise can be very overlooked for its benefits that will compound over time in your life. A lot of us can fall into psychological loops running through the same worries like clockwork every morning. And this practice can really help not only with navigating through it by using a clearer head, but eventually unwinding these destructive patterns and adding in a mechanism to help with bringing clarity to that uncertainty. Now, optionally, once you've bulleted out your realizations, you can also throw in there at the end an intention or a goal that you're setting for the day. It's up to you, but let's recap here. Start off with a point of gratitude to frame your mindset. Move on to rehearsal through thought dumping your worries and potential challenges of the day. Then step into your power via realization by clarifying and questioning and bringing logic towards what you have control over, how you could respond instead of react in certain situations, or bringing logic towards the uncertainty of anxiety that's looping in your mind. Now, I do have one more for you here, and this goes for any new habit that you're trying to create in life. Be careful not to fall into the predictable and tempting motivation wave that you'll be on once you finish this video. What I mean is that because your motivation will be high, you'll probably want to write out a page or more, but believe me, this will 100% wear off, and it'll happen very fast. We're all humans, so this happens to all of us when we don't have a plan to actually simplify and create new habits that become automatic. So unless you're some sort of habit creating superhuman, then you're going to want to check out this video next. This one is going to give you my tried and repeatedly tested step-by-step guide to making daily Stoic journaling or any habit that you want to implement easier and eventually automatic. And if the video isn't here yet, then make sure to subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss it. Until the next one, warriors, never stop growing.